You're listening to littlepodcast.com. It's one day for people to run over each other and fucking stab each other in the back to get fucking cheap TVs. Yeah, so we're all gonna die, huh?
We're all gonna die.
Call of Duty came out last night. I sold not a lot of it, and I don't know how good it is.
I have a book arriving tomorrow that's probably gonna scare the crap out of me.
Welcome to Born in the 80s, episode 240. I'm your host, John Rowe, joined by my co-hosts.
Hi, I'm Matt.
Internet's Matt Hag.
And this is TJ May. I don't know what I am right now.
TJ's ill right now.
The illest of the ill.
Yeah, he's illin'. Licensed to Ill, Beastie Boys. That's the first CD I ever bought. Matt, what was the first CD you ever bought?
I think now that's what I call music. Something.
Ooh. Now that's what I call music.
Or Jock Jams.
It was one of
Could
the
have been
second.
Jock Jams.
Jock Jams? That was a classic. That was a... All right, I gotta look up what
the original Jock Jams.
Okay, I have two questions for you.
Okay.
What now that's what I call music number do you think they're on first? And
Didn't they
second,
stop numbering them?
Wait.
I thought they're up to like 117 or something like that.
Uh-huh. All right.
What?
Matt, no, I want you to guess.
Okay. I'm gonna guess 76.
Trombones.
Did they come out like one per year?
No. They're on, now, of the main series. They basically, I think, are putting out 2 or 3 a year. The main series, now that's what I call music, exclamation point. 60.
How many years has that been?
It started with Now That's What I Call Music, exclamation point, in 1998.
Okay.
So, simply
So
titled Now was the first
More
one.
than
So it wasn't even...
per year.
All right, let me get you some good ones. Together Again by Janet Jackson. As Long As You Love Me, Backstreet Boys. The Way by Fastball. Flagpole Sitta, Harvey Danger. Say You'll Be There, Spice Girls. All My Life, Casey and JoJo. Oh my god, there's some... Mbop by Hanson. Zoot Suit Riot by the Cherry Poppin' Daddies, which is the grossest name for a band ever.
Those were the days.
Let's see here. Barbie Girl by Aqua. Fly Away, Lenny Kravitz. Sex and Candy, Marcy Playground. Oh my god.
Jesus.
And then Karma Police by Radiohead, which seems a little out of place in there, but you know.
Yeah, that's like... It's not peppy and fun like the
Oh
rest.
my god, dude! Now that's what I call music 2 is incredible. Fucking Baby One More Time, right? Robbie Williams, Millennium, Semisonic Closing Time. Oh my god, this is Praise You, Fatboy Slim. I think I'm Paranoid, Garbage, Cake, Never There. 98 Degrees song. Oh my god, there's just so many classics in here. Hard Knock Life, Jay-Z. Alright, but the first Now That's What I Call Music I bought was Now That's What I Call Music 3. And that has some real bad music on it. Wait, is it 3? The disc cover doesn't look the same, but it must be the one I had, because you gotta start yourself off with some Smash Mouth All-Star.
Best song ever.
Lenny Kravitz's version of American Woman. Blink 182, What's My Age Again? Oh my god. Enrique Iglesias, Bailamos. Britney Spears Sometimes. All I Have to Give, Backstreet Boys. Rockefeller Skank, Fatboy Slim. Limp Bizkit, Nookie. I mean, this is classic. fucking R. Kelly cover of "I Could Turn Back." Oh no, I could if I could turn back the hands of time. I thought it was if I could turn back time. I'd love to hear the R. Kelly cover of that. But yeah, that's some fucking ridiculous shit. Oleander, remember the band Oleander?
I've heard of them.
Post grunge was a really weird scene. You know, it was like we kind of want to be a little punky, but like more poppy. You know, like it was a really weird situation. They're like, let's be a little more upbeat about it, huh? Foo Fighters. Let's do a little rock. Yeah. Anyway. So Matt.
You're gonna skip my first album?
Matt. TJ's on mind mute. All right, now what's up?
My first CD was Red Hot Chili Peppers, Californication.
Okay.
I actually bought that on a forensic trip to Madison before I lived down there for school.
All right.
Over at the East Town Mall.
Nice. So you went to Madison to get the hot new CD. That was in probably like the first 5 or 6. So
that was a good one. It was worth it.
Yeah. Now that's what I call music. But they have some like ridiculous stuff now. It looks like there's like 800 spin-offs. Like, now that's what I call country. Now that's what I call, like everything. So
now that's what I call a podcast.
That's right. Let's get on it.
Let's do that. Let's like burn out like a mixed CD of podcasts and then just redistribute it.
I was about to say, I think I've wanted to like get a podcast, right, episode and put it on like a CD and burn a bunch of copies and just throw them in the street until people pick them up and be like, what's this? It'll be like in Mr. Robot. People will be like, am I going to get a virus? Oh no, it's just a mediocre podcast.
It's quality entertainment.
That's right, quality entertainment. Oh, what a week, huh?
Yeah.
You know what's crazy?
What a week.
When this episode goes up, like the election will be happening, basically.
It goes up on Monday, right?
Yeah, Monday night, like at 8 or 9 o'clock.
Hey, kids, vote tomorrow.
Vote tomorrow, or the world ends. Either way, vote. Apparently,
as a federally regulated podcast,
yeah,
we're required to say vote tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. It is a mandate. Voting. Voting requires citizenship. You must be a citizen to vote, or what? Fuck. God damn it! Where's my references?
Are you referencing Starship Troopers?
Yes, and I can't remember
the Republic.
Yeah. Matt, what is it? What is the words?
I don't know. I just recognized the language.
I know. Damn it, that movie is so good. I'm gonna get some quotes because there's gonna be quotes.
Attention, Bitecast listeners! Everyone, be like me and waste their vote on Ralph Nader.
That's right,
Ralph. He's not running.
Vote him in.
I'm gonna vote for Ross Perot.
All right, is he still alive? Do we have this question?
I don't know. Probably.
I don't know.
I'm gonna vote for the character of Ross Perot that was on All That inexplicably.
Oh, the one played by Amanda Bynes?
Yeah, like this kid's sketch show is gonna reference Ross Perot for some reason, and it's gonna wind up being a really popular character.
Here we go. Service guarantees citizenship, and citizenship is required to vote. Join the mobile infantry and save the galaxy. Service guarantees citizenship. Would you like to know more? That fucking movie is so good. Just all that fucking propaganda is so awesome. Like, what is the moral difference, if any, between a civilian and a citizen? Johnny Rico replies, a citizen accepts personal responsibility for the safety and the body politic, defending it with its life. A civilian does not. Gene Razchek, I don't know if I pronounced that name, the exact words of the textbook, but do you understand it? Do you believe it? Johnny Rico, I don't know. Gene, No, of course you don't. I doubt anyone here would recognize civic virtue if it reached him up and bit you in the ass. This movie's so fucking good. Oh, I want to watch it right now that we're talking about it. Jake Busey's got that space violin. Remember that part? And they all are like, it's the calm before the storm. Let's party. And he gets a space violin out, and they all like have a hoedown.
It's the space hoedown.
And then like Dizzy's like, I'm gonna sleep with Johnny Rico tonight. Oh God, we're gonna get a copyright strike again. No, but yeah, that movie's so good. Oh. Anyway, I watched that movie when I was far too young to have seen it, and boy did it scar me because it is graphic.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's one of the it's in my DVD collection proudly. Let's see here. What is Matt up to this week? Because I didn't do shit apparently.
I went to get some discount Halloween candy at Walgreens earlier today.
Is they still have that?
Cool.
Isn't it a bit late to get that?
It's down to candy corn, and like I got these weird ones that look like grandma candies.
Okay.
They're Pearson's nut goodies.
Oh.
So they're like maple candies and salted caramel things.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not the interesting part. The interesting part is there's already fucking Christmas stuff up in there.
Oh yeah, god damn.
Why would
just
you
not allowed?
Why would you go for the candies? Because I totally, at least at my grocery store, I went right for the monster cereals because they're on clearance.
Oh man, yeah.
I got one box of Count Chocula, one Blueberry, one Frankenberry. I'm gonna go through them all.
Are you gonna mix them all together?
No,
he's just gonna have like a beer. He's gonna have like a funnel with cereal and milk going down it like a beer bong.
Of course, I'm not gonna mix it. This is episode 240, not 420.
Adam got the message wrong. He thought this was episode 420, so that's why he's not here.
Adam.
Oh my God, where is he?
Wait.
He hasn't responded, or has he responded?
Smoke weed every day.
There it is.
The key to good comedy is timing.
Yeah, that was it. You got to say wait.
Yeah.
Ruffalo.
Ruffalo.
Resolution.
That sounded better.
Attention.
I miss my voice sounding like that.
Yeah.
Ruffalo.
Oh my. Did you know that now we're talking about this? News broke yesterday that a Starship Troopers reboot is in the works?
How did we cause that?
I know.
We did that together.
This is going to be so utterly, absolutely fucking garbage. I'm going to read to you right this fucking Hollywood Reporter here.
It's a reboot, you said?
Yes, Columbia Pictures is rebooting Starship Troopers. The studio has tapped Mark Swift and Damian Shannon, the writing duo behind the upcoming Baywatch movie, to pen the script for a new theatrical feature film. Neil H. Moritz, the producer behind the Fast and Furious franchise, is producing with Toby Jaff, whom he worked on with the studio's remake of another 90s sci-fi pick, Total Recall. Remember how awful and not well received that was?
Yay.
Yeah. So, anyway, Verhoeven, of course, directed the original, and it basically was amazing. I mean, you had Casper Van Dien, who is nobody now, Denise Richards, who is nobody now, and Neil Patrick Harris, America's Sweetheart, in it, and it was amazing. And, yeah, it didn't do super well at the box office, but boy, did people watch that on DVD. So, yeah, that's the worst people I could imagine. You know, the Baywatch people making it. It's perfect.
Have you ever seen Starship Troopers 2, Hero of the Federation?
No, I have not, and I don't know.
Apparently, it was a 2004 TV movie.
I see.
So speaking of Fast and the Furious, did you guys ever finish your series on critiquing them? I think you got the Fast 5. I don't know if you finished it.
Well, you know, Adam could be to blame for that, and I'm just going to assume he is.
Well, that's more about him leaving, isn't it? Less than...
I don't. When was the last one we did?
It was a while ago.
Was it
A couple
Fast
decades
5?
ago.
I know, it feels like a decade ago. I'm gonna look this up now. I don't even know how to look it up. Like, would I just look up Furious? Because that's like in all of them, except for Tokyo Drift. I'm just gonna Google search Furious. Let's see here. Fast and Furious, which is the 4th one. Fast and the Furious 2. Oh man, that's all I can find in here. Fuck, man. I don't know. Let's see here. This is a real bad episode already. I mean, I can just tell. I am just like so fucking burnt out.
All right, are you ready? Here's our video game corner. Call of Duty came out last night. I sold not a lot of it, and I don't know how good it is. All right, that was good enough.
All right.
I played Final Fantasy X-2 while the Game 7 of the World Series was playing.
There's a World
Celebrations are huge.
Series?
That's already over. It's fine. You didn't miss anything. Apparently, some sports team broke a 108-year losing record.
Okay.
It sounds like they're just starting to perform how they should have been all along.
Fair
Just
enough.
saying. Do your job.
I like
Win-
this
win those- get that paper.
podcast on let's see here. I searched, right? Fast 5 born in the 80s, and there's like 7 websites that have this. What is up with podcasts? What the fuck? Sorry.
Oh, that
So-
have that episode?
Yeah, iVokes.com. Born in the 80s, 26. I like this. It says, comments. By owner's decision, anonymous comments are not accepted. Like, what the fuck? Do they, put ads and shit on these, too? Like,
I don't know.
It wouldn't surprise me.
that is, so...
I think that's what Stitcher does.
That's, so
Everything else
unbelievably
just,
evil of them.
Yeah.
Um,
Almost every...
yeah.
every legit distribution platform just uses your RSS feed.
Yeah.
But Stitcher will read your RSS feed and download your episodes and recompress them, so you don't get any of the listener data from that or anything.
Yeah. Stitcher is a bitch. No, I like Stitcher. We have Stitcher. I mean, any way people can fucking find the show is awesome by me. We got lots of people giving us some good reviews on iTunes, though. We got 50 reviews. 3 stars. I think that's up.
I think so.
This is ridiculous. Player FM. What is... but there's no ads on this. I mean, there's ads on the website. You know what I mean? And that's fine, because these are, podcast apps, that people can have, and then they grab my RSS feed. So, if you have the Podcat app, you're able to get, that, Mixcloud, whatever the fuck that is. It's just weird, huh. But, looking at this iVoox...
The same thing happens to me with YouTube videos.
Yeah. They just get,
Yeah, my Google alert will get set off and it'll just be some new random-ass website that just pulls data from YouTube, has indexed it.
Well, all right. I'm gonna like this podcast. On this website, whatever the fuck it is.
Episode 26 of Born
Yeah.
in the 80s is Fast 5.
Yeah.
Really? It was that long ago?
I know, right?
Holy crap.
Was it just called Fast and Furious 6?
It was just called Fast 5. I don't know what the next one... I don't know what the next one's called.
I think we watched that
Furious
one.
6? I think it's called Furious 6.
No, it is called Furious 6.
In the kitchen to the left. The speakers are in the back seat.
Oh my god, it's all over.
Did you guys do Furious 6, though?
I think we must have, right? Adam and I watched that together.
You'll need those cords.
This
the
is
power cords,
ridiculous.
and the microphone. And you'll also need the cords that are in my passenger side seat.
Na, 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 na,
They're just like those little Edison power cords. There's like 3 of those.
na, 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 na,
Thinking
na.
of
I think it's talked about in episode 163, the John Cena's of the Forest.
Okay, so there it is.
But it's a 1 hour long episode that apparently.
Remember we did?
I don't know.
Yeah, remember we did episodes that you could listen to in one sitting instead of having
No.
super.
Remember when we did?
I don't remember that.
Could listen to.
I just want to say this: like looking at Born in the '80s. We've got the Telegraph news. People born in the '80s are half as wealthy as they're in their 30s as people a decade older. Huh?
That doesn't surprise me.
Boy, who would have thought having to pay absolutely out the fuck ass for college, and then wages for the income for starting jobs and middle of the road jobs didn't go up at all. It's fucking ridiculous. Of course, that's why Donald Trump needs to be in the office because
We need to make America great again.
that New York billionaire has my best interests in heart. Clearly.
He's just like one of the people.
Yeah, he's just like you and me. Stars, they're just like us. I mean, I like to talk locker talk in buses,
Yes.
you know?
You-
I like to grab my cat. I mean, that's kind of the same thing, huh?
Close enough.
All right,
So
let's get off that topic. Oh, wait.
As I'm playing with our website, I
Uh-huh.
found that Aaron actually left a comment on the episode The Legend of Zelda.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, I don't think we talked about it on the thing, but apparently there's Cheerwine down here in Illinois.
Uh-huh.
Our grocery store chain, Jewel Osco, has been selling the 4-packs of bottles, and some store called Big R has them as well.
Big
I don't-
R.
I don't know what Big R is, so I don't know where in Illinois Aaron is.
Yeah, what the heck?
'Cause I've never heard of Big R.
R.
Yeah,
Also,
what the
Aaron
fuck,
has
man?
Aaron has like the best image for his comment thing. Is that from Legend or is that the guy from Tenacious D? It's a devil of some kind. Let's see here.
I can't quite place it.
Getting there.
Oh, we're gonna get it so wrong. No, it's definitely not Pick of Destiny. So it is Legend because Tim Curry as the devil in Legend is amazing and excellent picture. All right, we got to move on though because we've got so much to talk to. There's a Big R in McHenry, Illinois.
That's not too far from me.
I was gonna say that can't be that far. Rochelle, Illinois. Man, maybe I'll have to stop when we go down to Chicago. We're going down to Chicago Sunday. Watch.
Oh, that's already coming up, isn't it? Holy crap!
Yeah, we're gonna watch. What's it called?
Hamilton.
Yeah,
Yep.
and we've decided to go to Chicago in a weird way, so that'll be fun. We're gonna
Take
go
a wheelchair?
No, we're gonna take the train, the metro,
Oh, nice.
from wherever it is, Harvard, Illinois, wherever that is.
Okay.
I don't know where that is.
I don't know either.
I gotta figure this out because it's a train to Chicago. Maps. It's like an hour and a half away from here. I gotta figure out how to get there. Oh, it's just near Beloit. It's just like a suburb of Beloit, basically. It's just across the state line. But yeah,
Fair
apparently
enough.
the train goes all the way from Harvard to Chicago, and it takes 2 hours. So, and then the fucking Chicago is like it drops you off literally like downtown Chicago, which is like 4 blocks from the theater. So that's kind of awesome. So looking forward to not having to drive in Chicago this weekend.
That's the way to do it.
Uh-huh.
I don't like going downtown.
That's where all of your cares can go away. Downtown. Matt?
This?
Oh, wow. I thought I caught you looking because you're like dealing with Mercury out there. And Matt,
What?
what's going on?
Have you seen the most recent episode of Westworld?
Yeah. That's the orgy one?
Yeah.
It
A
won't
lot
be the
of dongs in that episode.
It won't be the most recent after this one. This episode comes out, but yeah. Did you know that The Simpsons got another 2-season renewal?
How can they afford the voice actors anymore?
Why?
Well, the voice actors actually took pay cuts, so they're just continuing.
Nothing against The Simpsons because it's a great show. It's an icon, but it should be just. I mean, it's about done. It really is.
Season 30, it is here. So it'll be season 30. Will be the last season that they have ordered. So. Shit, man. Well, I watched the most recent Treehouse of Horror episode. There's some couple chuckles in there. I keep up every once in a while watching it. It's probably one of my favorite shows of all time, so I gotta watch it. Anyway, so that's my life. I'm a big fan of The Simpsons, and it's never gonna end. That's crazy, huh? Holy shit.
How long are you guys gonna be down here?
We're just gonna like seriously pop in, watch it, and then drive and take the train back immediately.
Fair enough.
Yeah. So there's a lot of BlizzCon news. You want to chat about BlizzCon?
Sounds interesting. I haven't looked it up.
Anything come out of it yet?
You haven't seen anything out of it?
No, nothing.
My God. All right.
Other than earlier when you told me that it's a new Overwatch character.
Well, Hearthstone's getting a new expansion. So let's see here. Yeah, I'm just trying to find the best place to start. How about... That seems good. All right, so let's start with that game. What did I mention? Hearthstone. So Hearthstone's getting a new expansion. Mean Streets of Gadgetzan. Some factions, tri-class cards. I don't know anything about Hearthstone.
I don't either. I haven't played it in a couple of months, and that was enough for me to just completely not be familiar with it anymore.
Yeah,
that game's changing so quickly.
Well, people play a lot of it.
I haven't played in over a year. Well, maybe just under a year, but still, it's been a long time.
So let's see here. Here's the Storm has the thing.
What are they doing?
Well, if you play, let's see here. A special skin for Overwatch hero Genji is coming. If you play Heroes of the Storm, 15 games of Heroes of the Storm, you'll unlock the Oni Genji skin to use in Overwatch. And then you'll also get access to Zarya in Heroes of the Storm. So, pretty neat. So there you go. And more Heroes of the Storm news. So more Blizzard game news. 2 new heroes coming to Heroes of the Storm. Varian Rin, the leader of the Stormwind, King of Stormwind, and Ragnaros, the Fire Lord.
What? What the fuck?
I know, right? That sounds awesome.
Ragnaros? Is he the guy who caused the Cataclysm?
No, that was Deathwing.
That was Deathwing, okay.
Yeah. There's a couple other things coming out. StarCraft 2 has some new co-op missions and co-op commander. So I guess I don't know what to describe it. I guess the co-op are like the half Zerg, half people, like evolved things, I guess. So I don't know. They're just adding some extra missions to that game. Overwatch has got a new map coming out called Echo Point, which is based on May. Like, it's all icy Antarctica, like, base. So that's kind of neat. Loving that they're putting out a lot of content for that game, after the things. And then there is Oasis, which is a desert-themed control map, which is coming in December. So there's 2 new maps coming. One's coming next week. Arcade mode, which I don't even know what that is. Here we go. It is... Yeah, so it's just like a crazy game mode. So there's like 1-on-1 and 3-versus-3. And they have weird rule sets, regularly rotating alternate game modes, ways to earn extra experience and loot. So it's kind of like a you know, like the weird. Remember in the summer they did the Lucio ball, you know, where they had like the different mode and stuff. So I think they're adding a permanent mode that adds like weird, special, like limited time modes to it, and then.
So Overwatch is becoming Rocket League.
Yeah, basically. They're just like trying to make it an esport, so they're just getting it built up, you know, like. And there was a couple other people were like, because Blizzard had been teasing some like Diablo stuff, right? And they're like, you know, so everyone's like, oh shit, are they going to announce Diablo 4? Like, is that the next thing we got? A new Diablo? And who knows? But during the keynote that's already happened, or maybe currently is happening right now as we talk? No. It happened earlier today. They announced Diablo, anniversary of Diablo 1, 20th anniversary. So Diablo 3 is getting a necromancer class. You know, it's kind of a thing. So, awesome. New class to play. And they're announcing that the Diablo 3 Reaper of Souls update called The Darkening of Tristram, right? Is basically, they rebuilt the original Diablo inside Diablo 3. So it is basically the classic old school Diablo, basically, where you can basically have the main town, you just keep going levels lower and lower beneath the town, and of course they have a special visual filter called Retrovision that makes everything look like classic, like 2D pixel art, or whatever the original kind of like pixelated, I forget what that's called, the original like motion art that they had. So free content update though, so awesome stuff, man. Blizzard's having their BlizzCon. And then Sombra, of course, the new character for Overwatch, and she's a lady hacker, and she's a bad guy, basically. Let's see here. What are her abilities? Oh, she's got, like a automatic pistol. She's got like I guess what it's called, like infiltration. So she can like remote hack players if you get close enough. You know, you'll disable them or their abilities. And she can go invisible. So she's like a stealth character. So she can turn invisible and run around invisibly. And then she's got an EMP, which disables abilities. So she's like a disabler, basically. She can like, you know, stun people and get behind enemy lines. So it seems cool. It's awesome they keep putting out things. And I think they've said that they have one more character in the works. So they added Anna and Sombra, and the next character is, who knows, something. So we'll see. That's pretty cool, though, that they're adding some neat shit.
It's awesome. So, I've got a small piece of video game updates that I just heard recently as well.
Sure.
So back in one of my earlier episodes here on Born in the 80s, I talked about that weird visual novel game that I played.
Yeah,
Zero's Escape trilogy.
Yes.
So, they are remaking the first one and the second one together in a combo pack coming out for Steam and coming out for PlayStation 4. The combo pack being called the Nonary games.
Yeah.
And that first one for DS originally did not have any voice acting. This one's going to be, I don't know about fully voice acted, but at least mostly voice acted, just like the second one was.
Well, that's pretty cool.
So if you're on Steam and you haven't played the trilogy, I wouldn't play the third one. Wait for the first two to come out and play all three.
Yeah, I think that's my plan. I'm definitely going to pick that when it comes out. So, yeah. Boy, you know what November means?
No Shave November?
Black Friday, baby.
Oh yeah.
You guys excited?
You do that?
What?
No.
You don't do Black Friday, Matt? Come on. Get all that Black Friday.
Well, I have to work it, so that's a thing.
Oh yeah. Probably sucks for you.
Not as bad. They changed things up for me. Makes it a lot easier.
Yeah, do they still make people like come in at like 7 a.m. or some nonsense?
Well, yeah, but it's better than what Target and like Walmart do.
Okay.
Because they are open, and they'll probably do the same thing this year. 6 p.m. Thanksgiving night. It's dumb.
Yeah,
Absolutely dumb.
Yeah, like I'm not gonna go out. Like I did it once. I guess I can't lie. I mean, I I got my PS3 at like a Walmart that started the Black Friday deals at like 9 p.m.
Yep.
And so like, yeah, I went there. I think I talked about this on the podcast. I must have. I went there and like waited.
You did. Yep.
Yeah. And then like, it was just like, all right, it's 9 o'clock, mad dash. And then everyone got in line for the items that they wanted. And like people were fucking grabbing coffee makers. Like it was like going to be the end of the world if they didn't get like a $20 coffee maker instead of $30. I was like, whoa, let me get the $300 PS4 that comes with like an extra controller and like 4 games, like, or like 5. It was like all the Uncharted games and all the and like a bunch of other games too, Infamous and Infamous 2. So it was like, here's a ton of first party games that are great. So yeah.
So as someone who's been in retail, what Target and Walmart have been doing over the past, I want to say about 15 years, is Black Friday used to be a thing that was like at 5 in the morning.
Yeah.
And then, one of them would be like 4 in the morning. And then the next year, the other one would be 3 in the morning. And they've been doing that frog hop for years.
Yeah.
And it's basically just ruining the people that work for their stores. GameStop was even to the point that we were doing midnight. But starting last year, and it's something we're going to continue going forward, Black Friday is 5 a.m. And it just means that it's not a crazy rush right open other than for some limited edition stuff. Last year it was like Funko mystery boxes. But otherwise, it was just a steady stream of people all through the day. And it was much more conducive to a better environment for everyone.
I'm trying to think here, because like Costco has released their Black Friday ad now. There's some good bundles for PS4s and 3 Xbox Ones, but I think honestly, I'm like, I kind of want to get another TV, because I have my living room TV, and I kind of want the bedroom TV, and my old living room TV is currently my bedroom TV, but the reason why we bought a new living room TV is because the living room TV used to suck ass, and it kind of flickers a lot and is like kind of shitty. So I was like, I might want to get it. And when we watch TV in the bedroom, it's shitty and flickery, and I hate it. So it's kind of like, maybe it's time to just throw that thing in the garbage and just get like a $200 cheap ass TV to put in the bedroom. Like, and Black Friday is good for those cheap ass TVs. Oh man, there's a bunch of places. Shopko's got their Black Friday ad out. It's fucking crazy. Doorbusters.
Bust those doors.
Yeah, it looks like a lot of retail places walked it back though. Like Shopko,
I did the wait in line early in the morning thing like once or twice for like motherboards and stuff in the late 90s at Best Buy.
Oh yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
Back when you could buy computer parts at Best Buy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there was all kinds of stuff where they'd like throw in hard drives for free and stuff. I think I did that with CompUSA too, because I was super cool.
Oh, this is bullshit. They have like, this is like not even a Black Friday deal thing. This is bullshit. Shopko. The BlackFridayDeals.com has got Friday of November 18th, the week before, so it's early Black Friday. That doesn't count. It's one day. It's one day for people to run over each other and fucking stab each other in the back to get fucking cheap TVs. And it's America.
Yep.
Right? I love America. It's our great country. Well, hopefully Supreme Commander Trump will take care of us during the Black Friday deal. And no one will die.
Trust me, we're all gonna die. Just
yeah, that's true.
Some sooner rather than later.
I'm immortal. I'm gonna be immortal.
I want to talk about some bullshit right here.
Yeah, I'm already on the podcast.
Hey-o! No, I didn't mean to say talk to some bullshit. I'm going to talk about some bullshit.
This is your bullshit music.
Well, you got to turn that down. It's so fucking loud. Oh, I like that one better anyway. Alright, let me find it, because I'm looking for the ad. Because I didn't have a lot of time to prep, because I was super busy this week, and... Where is it? It's about the World Series, which I watched. Oh, here it is. Alright. Man, you gotta turn that music off. I hate talking over music. It's too loud. I can't think about what I'm going to say next. But I want to say this. So, in 2014, November 4th, Rays fan Geo posted 2016 World Series Cubs versus Indians, and then the world will end with the score tied in the game 7 in extra innings, #apocalypse. Do you want to know what happened Wednesday night?
There's some sort of fake thing that got this injected.
The game was tied, and it went into extra innings, Cubs versus Indians. Crazy. Okay, so Vox posted an article with the title of, let me think here. Vox, what was the name? Fuck you, goddamn. Oh, here we go. The viral 2014 Cubs World Series tweet seems too good to be true. That's because it is. And they talk about how, like, hey, this tweet is obviously, you know, like, this is a scam. Like, there's a lot of people that make just, like, tons of predictions on Twitter, right? Like, just throw a bunch of them out there and then have your account set to private. And then once one of them is about to come true, you set your account to delete all the tweets that you don't need. You know, set the one tweet that you want to, like, you know, whatever, and then go public, and then everyone's like, holy shit, and then retweet yourself and be like, holy shit, look at this. I said this, you know, 2 years ago, right? And so, you know, that's it. Okay, so
what's the end game with that?
Oh, just to get, you know, attention. Okay, so then there's some issues with this, because they're like, okay, that seems like, you know, really interesting, because this happened with a FIFA website where they talked about, like, World Cup. They had, like, predicted the final, you know, but this was actually an account they found back, like, predicted every single possible outcome, and then deleted everything but the one that was happening. And we're like, oh my god, 5 years ago I predicted this. You know, it's a confidence scam. But if you inspect the Rays fan Geo's account, a lot of really I mean, I just want to say my rants and talking this week are all based on journalism being really bad, like people doing a really bad job with journalism, and that's the problem. That's like the whole crux of what's terrible about this year and this election cycle and just the state of discourse in this nation, is that people don't believe the media and people don't believe facts. And you know, like, this could be a scam. Interesting. Let's read an article about it. And Vox went, you know, to write an article, and boy, did they fuck it up. Because the real story behind that tweet is much more interesting. You know, they're like, okay, this is obviously one of those confidence scams, whatever. Most likely, that's what happened. Of course, you know, most likely isn't definitely this has happened. If you're going to call someone out for scamming people, you better know before you do that. Talk to him, ask him, you know, get it. Anyway, so there's a couple interesting things about this. Ideally, if you make your predictions on a platform that allows for private posting, you can make them all private to avoid detection. Okay? In Geo's case, he simply swamped a Twitter account with a staggering number of tweets, more than 214,000 since the account was made in 2009, or 2,400 tweets per month, most of them about sports. That's more than enough to bury any prediction tweets he might have made and didn't want found. It's like, this is very hypothetical right here. Okay, the guy tweets a lot. 24,000 tweets per month is an insane amount of tweets when you think about it. That's, or not 24,000, 2,400. That's like approximately 180 tweets a day or something like that.
Close to just 80.
Or yeah, sorry. Yeah, you're right. That's crazy. Next comes another hypothetical, of course. In June, Twitter gave us the ability to retweet ourselves. That meant by the time came to announce a successful prediction, all Geo had to do was delete all of his old incorrect Twitter predictions and retweet the old successful one. We can easily see that no one interacted with this tweet before October 21st of this year, around at which point he began retweeting and promoting it so much it garnered attention. Interesting. So, you know, it sounds interesting, right? But let's look at the way that they're talking about this. They're saying back in 2014, the Rays fan Geo, the Twitter account, seeded Twitter with tweets about future sports events so that he could promote the winning one with a Twitter feature that wouldn't be introduced for 2 years. Like, he just knew that he would be able to do that years from now? Like, that's a weird assumption to make, that he was like, oh, he used this brand new feature from a tweet 2 years ago. And so this Deadspin talks to Len Gioferraccio, or I don't know how to pronounce that name. It's Italian sounding. And he basically, they talk to him in this article. And he talks about, like, the rest of the article is talking about how, like, confidence scams are, like, a real thing and all this stuff. So after Vox published their post, its sister site, The Verge, published an interview with Ferraccio. So this is some bad journalism to begin with, when you have one site posting a takedown of this thing, and then The Verge, another site that they own, posing a positive interview explaining how and why he had tweeted that. Like, literally not talking to each other here. And so, apparently, if you do know, Joe Madden, who was the manager of the Cubs this year, who won the World Series, in 2014, was the manager of the Tampa Bay Rays Fangio, and he was a big fan of Joe Madden, whom the Cubs officially introduced as their new manager November 3rd, 2014, one day before he tweeted his prediction that his favorite manager's team would make it to the World Series. And so it's really interesting. It's like, literally, he tweeted the day after, his favorite manager got traded to the Cubs, and he's like, man, he's going to take the Cubs all the way. That Joe Madden knows how to do baseball. And he talks in the article about how he was like, oh, he's his favorite manager. He's going to working alongside Theo Epstein, who's going to bring the team out of obscurity into the limelight. And then they asked him, why the Indians? He was like, well, I knew that they had a really good young pitching staff, because this guy's way into baseball, and you're like, 214,000 tweets is a lot of tweets. But when you're someone like who watches sports and just tweets about games as they're happening, like, you could be watching the World Series game and put out 40 or 50 tweets while you're sitting on your couch, like, discussing the game with other people on Twitter. Like, it's just crazy. It's just
80 tweets a day with that kind of background is nothing.
Yeah,
nothing
if you're watching sports and use it as a social media platform where you're talking with other Rays fans and tweeting about stuff, and that it's not insane. And so it's just, what the fuck? Like, seriously, if you're gonna write an article like about how something is a scam, you better not be scamming people into believing that you know what you were talking about. Like, what the fuck? And then their sister site posted an article that contradicted them, like, immediately. Anyway, so it's interesting. I guess Vox added a correction on the article, saying the article below incorrectly suggested we know that the tweet is a hoax. We're just saying that kind of prediction is frequently the subject of scams, but we did not take the necessary steps to confirm that he had intentionally perpetrated a hoax. This story was not up to our standards. We deeply regret the error. The article's text has been updated to properly reflect our uncertainty. Yeah. Fucking, you got torched, son. Like, if you're gonna try and take down some, like, sports fan for making... And here was my thought. When I first saw that, I wasn't like, it's a scam. I was like, there are how many million Twitter users, how many million baseball fans, and how many million ridiculous predictions have happened across the multiverse of Twitter, and one guy had it right, like, and it is shockingly accurate, like, that it was, exactly almost, 2 years ago to the day, and, exactly accurate with it would be an extra innings game 7, like, which is, rare enough, so... But, you made it. You just got lucky. People win the lottery. It just happens. It's, when you got that many tweets out there, someone's bound to say something correct years before it happens. I mean, what? I predicted that Peanuts movie when I was talking garbage on the podcast, and I'm not going to be like, oh, I'm prescient and I predicted that. I just spouted out a ridiculous thing that I thought was like, well, probably they'll try and update the Peanuts, and they totally fucking did. Anyway.
Because we spout how much garbage on each episode, something's bound to be right.
Yeah, we're bound to predict something, and we're geniuses. We can just go back and we'll delete every episode but the prediction. Last Guardian will never come out.
The chances of any individual rare event happening are very low, but the chances that some incredibly rare event will happen to one of the things that we've said is a much higher chance.
Yeah. So Yeah, it's just dumb. Like, god damn. Like, the fucking hot take economy on journalism is just ridiculous. Like, let's just rush to, like, call this a scam because it resembles a scam. And maybe it resembles a scam because the scam is built to resemble, like, real life. You know what I mean? Like, obviously, the scam is trying to trick you into thinking... If
he wasn't trying to, like, solicit anything from it, then what's the scam?
Yeah. Well, that's what he talks about in that thing. He was like,
if he was saying, like, I'm psychic, give me money and I'll predict stuff for you or something.
He literally, I think, he says in the Verge article, like, oh, I don't really care. I just tweeted it because I was like, holy shit, I was right all that back then, you know? Like, and it was like, people are going to forget about me in 50 minutes. I don't really care. Like, I just thought it was really neat. Like, you know what I mean? It's just like, how is this guy trying to scam people? What's in it for him other than just... like 5 minutes of people being like, whoa, crazy. When he made a tweet that was like, here are 2 up-and-coming ball clubs that could be good in 2 years. Maybe they'll beat in the World Series and maybe it'll be extra innings in Game 7. And you know what? The world didn't explode. There was no apocalypse that happened. You know? Or did you guys hear the trumpets that played after the Cubs won? Gabriel's trumpet. That's what my hope is for the election, is that the results come in, and then the horns play, and it's John Cena. It's John Cena. Do you have that? You got to get that audio, Matt. I'm requiring you to get the like John Cena music, and then the guy yelling, "It's John Cena," because
his name is John Cena.
Because it's classic. Anyway, no, not at all, but whatever. I think there's a website that's just called It's John Cena that does that. I think it is. Like, no, I don't want to Vine. I think there's just a website. Like, just literally like johncena.com, and it just plays that.
And his name is johncena.com?
Is that it?
I think so. I don't know. I'll look it up.
Anyway, it's just... It's a pretty good... instantcena.com. Here you go. Yeah, that's it. Go to instantcena.com and you get it. Oh. That's... I'm putting that in the old... that's going in the episode description. Anyway. So yeah. That's some bullshit that happened. And Matt, did you watch baseball?
No.
I want to publicly thank absolutely everybody that when the game was happening, that there wasn't a million of my non-sports loving friends that were like, sports ball? Duh, I hate sports. I hate that shit. It's like, dude, shut the fuck up. Like,
were you just not on Facebook or?
No, I was on Twitter and Facebook. But it's just like, come on. Like, seriously? People like your thing.
I'm sports neutral, so it's fine.
I'm going to see Matt. Let's see Matt's sports update during the game. Matt, are you going to delete it now? Are you going to make a prediction that you... No, I'm kidding.
What?
I'm just saying that...
I was trying to remember if I posted anything.
I don't think you did. I don't see anything on your thing.
If I did, it was by accident because I didn't know what was happening until it was over.
You just put an audio podcast thing for Are We Delicious? I see.
I did do that. Was that on Facebook?
Apparently, it was shared.
Yeah, I'm recording shows for them.
Oh, nice.
They're doing like 3 to 4 minute radio plays, like big batches of them every week.
That's cool.
What's Are You Delicious about?
I don't fucking
They're
know.
like a collaborative kind of like theater group. It's like heavily writing based.
Yes.
So a bunch of people get together and they'll write stuff in a really short amount of time and then they'll perform each other's things. And so this is like a side project that they got like a grant or something for. And they're getting together and they're like writing a whole radio play. Or each person's writing a radio play in a night. And then we're recording it the following Sunday.
That's pretty cool. Well, they're doing a show on December 2nd in the Barrymore Theater, so check that shit out if you're in Madison. Anyway, I know Tony. He was on the podcast.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
Yes, he was.
An episode,
Yep.
yeah. Like episode 4, I believe. Anyway, so pretty cool. Let's see.
John, I know we had no time last week, but we started Gears of War.
We did start Gears of War. Gears of War 4. Interesting game, that is. Having only played the first Gears of War game. Takes place, I guess, way after the events of the first game.
First 3, yeah.
First 3, yeah. I like that they probably took the complaint that everyone has whenever a Gears of War game comes out. They're like, these all look the same. And they're like dark and brown and gray. And this game, at least the first chapter, is definitely not that. Because you're...
bright as shit.
Yeah, you're infiltrating like a... I guess in the future they got cities that like build themselves. They like just put like a fabricator in the middle with a bunch of robots, and it just like builds an entire city around itself, you know, for people to move into, like prefabricated cities. So that's pretty cool, like sci-fi thing. But the idea is that your characters are gonna raid the city and get to the fabricator and steal it and take it back to one of the like non-government controlled settlements, so they can have some stuff. And you have to fight a lot of robots in that first section. So a lot of robots. Uh-huh. And then not the tutorial, but like the opening thing is like flashbacks to moments during like the Great Locust Alien War, and your character dies in every single flashback.
Yep.
Which is funny. Like they died
from not the perspective of Marcus.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, 'cause
you always play like a grunt in those little like vignettes, and you just like get crushed, and it's like, yeah, so pretty neat though. The game seems really cool. We're gonna have to play some more. I'd like to get into it some more. It works pretty good on PC. The Xbox sharing is like really cool. The fact that TJ and I can play together. I can just use his copy of the game, his like PC version.
Yep.
Because I just designated, I guess, my PC as his like go-to like gaming PC. And then
your PC is my primary Xbox.
Yes, because you don't have a gaming PC, so
no.
What's the point of you having those free extra copies?
And since it is the Xbox copy that you're actually playing. It's just since the game is cross-play, it lets you do both. Mm-hmm. But, why does it matter that I'm not playing on my... my system's not my primary because it doesn't matter. I'm always online when I play anyway. So.
Yeah. And, but it's cool because I was able to sign you out of the store and then sign myself in as me, and then it said, like, games you have access to because they're on the Xbox... quote unquote on this computer. And it'd be just like if TJ and I live together, and he was like, hey, well, when you want to play Xbox, you can just use my Xbox, and I would sign in on his Xbox as my account and be able to play the games that were on it, so that's pretty cool. I like the sharing feature on that. It's neat. It actually makes it like cool because like if I were to digitally buy a game in the Windows Store and eventually get an Xbox One, I would be able to use it on there too, So it's kind of, well, at least the games that support that, the first-party games.
The cross-buy ones, yeah.
Yeah, which is cool, and I like that. And they did some of that with the PS3 and the PS4 originally. Like, when I bought Battlefield 4, I bought the PS3 version, and it was like, if you buy the PS3 version, you get a free upgrade, or maybe it was a $10 upgrade.
It was a $10 upgrade because I was selling that upgrade.
Yeah. But the PS3 version was like $30 cheaper or something when I bought it. So I was like, all right, it's a net gain of $40 here. Like, and I get 2 copies of the game. Why not?
Exactly.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool actually how the crossplay has worked, and the PS4 has done a lot of that too. Like a lot of titles that you had on PS3 kind of work on PS4, or I think a couple have at least, right?
If you want to kind of mix and match, because they got a lot of different ones that work different things at different things. So like
it's kind of patchwork.
PS3 and Vita, I've got a Hotline Miami.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
PS3, PS4, and my Vita, Rogue Legacy.
Yeah, Rogue Legacy is a good one.
Yeah, it's a great one. I suck at it, but
I played so many hours of that game. There was literally a 2-week period where Matt, do you know what Rogue Legacy is?
I do not.
I think you'd love this game. It's a platformer, roguelike. And so like you're like a guy.
When
Yep.
when people say roguelike, what does that mean? Because I've heard it
Sure.
a lot and
It's
have
like-
never bothered to look it up.
The game Rogue.
Okay.
So it
And
is a
that's
rogue
some kind of
like-
platformer.
No.
Let me explain it to Matt. A roguelike game just means that if I play a game now, and I decide to start over and play a game, next time, the game and the way everything's arranged is all random.
Yeah.
Okay.
One of the earliest ones that wasn't Rogue was one of my favorite games for Genesis, and that was Toe Jam and Earl.
Yeah. The original.
Yep. But
Yeah.
roguelike doesn't necessarily mean what style of gameplay. So, Rogue Legacy actually plays like Castlevania Symphony of the Night,
Yes.
but it's randomized every time you play through it, and you die really easily, and then it re-randomizes the castle.
Yeah. And it re-randomizes your
Okay.
character as a
Yes.
offspring of the character who died. So it's actually pretty cool. So yeah, Rogue was original like game, like kind of based off of like Dungeons and Dragons, like procedural rules, and like the
it
idea
like a
was
dungeon crawl.
yeah, like the original was like, you would get in a random dungeon, there'd be random loot, random that, and like you would probably die like 100 times. But then eventually you'd have one run where you just kind of had everything went right, and you'd get farther and farther and farther, and then die, and it was kind of all about like, here's the random generation and the storytelling that you can get out of that, like procedural generated like storylines that you can build out of that. And I fucking love roguelikes. I mean, I played so many. There was Moria, which was, Lord of the Rings kind of based, which is pretty cool. And they're all like, the original ones are all like totally like ASCII text, and it was you trying to sneak through the mines of Moria without getting caught, basically. There was Hack. There's just lots of games that eventually came up. Let's see here. The Japanese games, Spike Chunsoft made the Mystery Dungeon series.
Yep, those are all roguelikes.
They're all roguelikes. The Pokemon Mystery Dungeon games are roguelikes, and I'm trying to think of the other game I played. Sheer the Wanderer.
Spike Chunsoft makes every Mystery Dungeon game, no matter what the crossover is.
Yeah, exactly. They just like do it.
Etrian Odyssey has a Mystery Dungeon game.
Yeah.
There's a lot of other ones I can't think of. Oh, I think Awakened Fate.
And
those games, I think those are Mystery Dungeon games.
Yeah. Spelunky, like there's some really popular ones lately because it kind of like had a boom in the late 2000s. Like in 2008, Spelunky was kind of huge as a roguelike where you're kind of like a Indiana Jones going through all these like crazy randomly generated underground things and getting, treasures and escaping bad things. And was it Rogue Legacy in 2012, Binding of Isaac in 2011, FTL in 2012 as well.
Yep.
Like, just so many awesome roguelikes.
Oh, really? FTL is considered one?
Yeah, that's basically a roguelike, yeah, where you just kind of randomly generated encounters, and every time you die, you restart a new game, basically. And sometimes, like in Rogue Legacy, there is carryover. And so the idea with Rogue Legacy is when you die, you get to keep some of that money, and then before you go back in the castle, you can buy gear that gets like bequeathed to your descendants when you die. So you can like slowly accumulate better and better gear and abilities. And so eventually you can get through the whole castle. I should get back into that. I got through the first 3 sections of the castle.
I can't beat the first boss yet.
It just takes a lot of grinding. Like eventually you'll get some really good abilities and better gear that like has lifesteal and stuff, and then the original boss becomes trivial, and then it just kind of like I love that though. It's kind of like Cookie Clicker, huh? You just keep replaying it, and it just gets like faster and faster, and more things unlocked every time. And
that's the segue you were going to go with, because I was going to go a different direction on it.
So it's time for the Cookie Clicker update.
We didn't get one last week, Matt.
I know, I got away with it.
You fucking bastard.
I don't know. I'm not going to vomit numbers at you. But here's a notable thing. I got that crazy ass perma upgrade that you were talking about,
Ah, yes.
where it gives you extra clicks for each structure.
Uh-huh.
So I ascended like 2 hours ago,
Yeah.
and I'm already up to 1.5 quadrillion cookies per second.
Yep. That's how it
Quite
goes.
the boost.
You just basically get to restart with a speed boost. The talent tree in Cookie Clicker is vast. I'm
It
actually
is.
working towards the start with 10 grandmas one, which I think boosted with the cursors would mean you just instantly start earning money as soon as you start. So
Yeah, because you have the one where you start with a bunch of cursors, right?
yeah, exactly. So it's basically just gonna be like boom, go. Yeah. So the numbers go higher. Matt, what are your cookies baked all time? I want to see if you're catching up.
Time.
Mm-hmm.
3.2 sextillion.
Oh my God, you're catching up to me.
I
I'm
pretty
at,
much just leave it running constantly.
I'm at 4.7 sextillion.
Oh, I'm gonna pass you. I'm gonna pass
I know you are.
Probably this weekend.
No, I'm leaving it on now too, so
Get you.
it'll be
Might
hard
get
for you to
you.
catch up. Anyway,
We'll just see who does more manual clicking.
that's right. That's what it's going to come down to. Who wants it more?
Not me.
No.
I also have a pretty sweet room on my PewDiePie YouTube simulator.
God damn it. I don't want to hear about that game.
I've got like a couple dozen guitars on the walls, and 3 cats and 2 pug dogs,
Mhm.
and a drum set and like 4 timpani. It's a pretty sweet room.
Nice. It's exactly what your future... That's what you want your room to look like, right? When you grow up? When you become a tuber star?
Yeah.
I
want
don't
Tiffany.
know how anyone would want to become a YouTube star. It sounds awful.
I like Twitch better anyway.
Like, YouTube is just ruthless. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, when you hear people talk
Like I would
about...
love to make a living from music, but I don't want to be like a YouTube celebrity or anything.
Yeah. When you're on YouTube, you're like a fucking slave to, like, just their policies. And, like, something goes weird, you're fucked. You know? Like, it's just... like, you know, you're at the mercy of this giant corporation who couldn't give a fuck about you. You know? Like...
And it must be exhausting to always have to react to stuff.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I know, dude. Like, I've talked about, or I haven't talked about this on the podcast, but, like, I would Twitch stream more, but, like, sometimes you just want to fucking play a game, you know?
Mhm.
Like, sometimes
True.
you just want to play. Like, it's just interesting that you're just like, I don't know, like, I just want to play a game. I do have an interesting roguelike thing to talk about, though.
Yeah, go
Yes,
ahead.
sir. Okay, so this was my other rant that I wanted to get on about journalism. It's all about ethics in
All right.
game journalism, people. That's
Sure
all.
it is.
Well, I don't want to be one of those Gamergate people. This is an awful subject to talk about because, like, I was talking about this on forums that I frequent online, and one of them, we talked about this article, and it instantly kind of became a pylon about why are you writing about sexism in games? It's a game, like, this is dumb, you know, blah, blah, blah. Like, just talking about, oh, this person, you know, of course they're going to write about this. This is, you know, that. And it's a female writer who wrote this, and it's just like, oh, this is bad. And then the other one is like, oh, you could criticize that? You're just one of those Gamergaters. Like, I'm like, okay, no. Like, you can criticize, like what, are we supposed to never criticize any piece of games journalism ever now because of this? Like, there are bad articles, and this is one of them. We're going to talk about it. So, Rock, Paper, Shotgun, formerly good website. No, they're still good. This article just really sucks, because it's full of loaded language that it's bad. How Rimworld, because remember I talked about Rimworld, which is basically a roguelike,
Yep.
defines
Okay.
strict
Yeah.
gender roles. So, yeah, it's a sci-fi colony management sim. Claudia Lowe wrote this. article, and then like some fucking crazy monster person on one of the forums is like, oh, she graduated with a, what is this? Swarthmore College with a major in gender and digital media, focusing on queer and feminist theory as it applies to video games. Which to me sounds like a major that is like, how are you going to get a job with that major? That is a very, very specific topic. But she wrote this article, which is, I know it's going to sound crazy, is simultaneously good and bad. Like, it is really interesting, because we'll get into the interesting talk, and I want to talk about this because it's really cool. But, so the game Rimworld has characters that are, like, randomly generated. They're on this fucking godforsaken rock where you're trying to make everyone survive, and, you know, the little peons interact with each other. They call them pawns. Interact with each other. And this delves into the code on how these pawns react with each other. And so, you're going to get an article where this person looks through the code in the game of Rimworld and makes the argument that it's defining strict biased gender roles. So we're deep in it right now. It talks about some bullshit about I guess so. What's interesting is that, like, you know, Rimworld's a cool thing because, you know, people have all these randomly generated stories, and every time you start a new game, crazy weird things happen to you. But an anecdote is they found that's not unique is Rimworld subreddit has a user asking for strategies to deal with attractive lesbians, which is an interesting question. Like, I'm having issues with attractive lesbians in my game. And so I guess the issue that they were having was there was an attractive lesbian female character, and every survivor was constantly hitting on her, basically slowing down the game. And then when they would hit on her and be rebuffed, they would get sad, basically. And so, okay. So it's really interesting that the code is, she quotes some of the code here, and then. In other words, female pawns are about 8 times less likely to try and start a romantic relationship than male pawns. This is just one of many factors, which is takes into, the code takes into elements including the presence or absence of an existing romantic partner and how they feel about that partner. So this is the issue that they had right here is, however, this single check on gender has such a profound effect that it makes female-initiated romance attempts incredibly rare. Notice that neither a history of rebuffs, so you could keep, basically, you know what I mean? Like, if you're hitting on this chick and she keeps spurning you and you get bummed out when she does, maybe after a while you should probably be like, maybe I should stop, maybe I should stop. So it's just really interesting that, they're talking about this, they're talking about attractiveness and how that's calculated for both male and female pawns. Attractiveness rests on a few variables: the genders of the initiator and the recipient, the sexual orientation of the initiator, the beauty of the recipient, age, physical ability, lots of other things. Let's see here. We got factors. Okay, so here's comments in the code here. In the rest of the function, multiply attractiveness with the factors for talking, moving, manipulation efficiency, which is penalty for pawns with disabilities, bonus penalty for attractiveness traits. Ugly equals negative 30% likely. Beautiful, 230% likely. So if you had like a character randomly rolled with those attractiveness traits. Additional age factor between 15 and 18. I don't know what those variables are. Enforced sexual orientation for gay women. If me orientation equals gay and them gender equal male. 0 attractiveness no matter what the return. And for non-gay women, okay, this is the biggest issue that they have. If me orientation equals straight and them gender equals female, only 15% as strong as it would otherwise be attractiveness equals attractiveness. So basically it's saying women have a 15% chance of being attracted to women no matter what. Men are never attracted to gay men unless they're gay themselves. It's basically saying women are bi, men aren't. Is the way that the game is coded, according to this. And so it goes into like a lot of crazy, interesting, like talks about that, about how the age things work and how men prefer younger women, women prefer men that are the same age or maybe a little older, and all this stuff. So the summary is, let's see here. Pawns with disabilities will always be found less attractive. Beautiful pawns are always considered more attractive. Ugly pawns, vastly less. And physical beauty is the only trait that governs the attractiveness aside from sexual orientation. So that's it, really. So, and then she says Rimworld is not finished. Obviously, this is a game work in progress. It's on Stream Greenlight. It's still being built. So this relationship system may well continue to develop and change. On top of that, the various numbers thrown into these formula may well be there because of a late night or as placeholders or just trying to make the systems work. In other words, there might not be any specific commentary on any interpretation of gender roles behind this, malicious or otherwise. Any game system that tries to represent or model complicated real-world scenarios has to make abstractions and sacrifices, and human relationships might be one of the most complicated things you could possibly portray. And I was like, that's really interesting to think about. Like, if you're going to make an AI simulation of, like, characters that have to interact with each other, how do you code, like, gender, sexual orientation, like, all sorts of romance and relationship stuff? Because it's, like, it's crazy. Like, how could you do it? And this is how he chose to do it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And so she says, here we go. On top of... here we go. So, like, whatever. You know, you're talking about how it's really interesting is that, you know, women can always be bisexual, men can never be. It's a tricky subject. You know, nothing's perfect. But the problem with this model isn't that it's flawed. It's that it's flawed in a way that perfectly mirrors existing sexist expectations of romance with such specificity that it's hard to view as unintentional. And if it is unintentional, it is on us to ask what the system is trying to show. What are the possibilities it allows? What is Rimworld setting as the boundaries of possibility? So it's like, you know, decompiling the code gives us to look at as to what is going on, blah, blah, blah. Here's your article. Interesting, I think. Why is this bad? Because when you think about it, it's interesting, right? It's a touchy subject because we're talking about, you know, sexual orientation as a topic in a game, in a piece of media, and how it's portrayed. You know, it's not the real world. You know, you can make the argument, oh, let's worry about, you know, not some game in development that takes place on some space rock, like in how some developer who is a one-man development team decided to code the relationships. You know, whatever. But, you know, he chose to make this game the way he did. Let's dig into it. Here are the issues with this article. What if I were to tell you that this is the way the article was published, and that hours later they published the editor's note? The developer was contacted for interview as part of this article, but declined to take part unless we ceded editorial control over publishing of that interview. We do not cede editorial control to developers or interview subjects, and so no interview took place. So my problem with this article, and it's been totally confirmed by, like, by Kotaku posting another article that's Rimworld's Queer Women Controversy Explained, in which they have the developer talking about his reasons for doing this. But this Rock, Paper, Shotgun article doesn't have the input from the creator at all. Basically, she's looking at code and development.
I can understand them not wanting to give up editorial control, though. That's
here's the issue.
Unreasonable.
It is unreasonable, but this was the argument that I had. Was like, you say that, and he says something else. He says that they wouldn't let him do some basic things that he thought he should be able to do in an interview. And you have websites like Kotaku putting an article up that he speaks to them about, and it is very even-handed. You know what I mean? Like, it isn't, like, praising him or anything. Like, he clearly wanted to talk about this. He immediately posted to Reddit a rebuttal of the whole article. You know what I mean? It's like, my thing was, like, if you're going to write this article and ask the question that she does of, is this intentional? you're going to have to ask the guy. That's the article there. Like, I'm in a dialogue with the guy who created this about why the hell did you choose to do it this way? But clearly, he was turned off, and he talks about how basically they said they wanted to do an interview. He asked a question about whether or not he would get final say, and she never responded back, basically. Like, basically, he was just cut off. Like, he was like, and it was weird because he was like, well, I'm worried that this article is going to paint me in a bad way. You know what I mean? Like, and my problem was, if you're going to write this article, you have to talk to the guy about this because you're looking at code and development.
I'm curious, what were his explanations?
Oh, okay, yeah, we'll get into that because it's really interesting, and that's my whole argument about this journalism piece. And people are like, "Oh, you're being a gamergator for talking about how bad this woman's article is about this sexist thing." I'm like, no. It's bad because he gives really interesting explanations on Reddit and not in your article. The article should have the whole piece in it. Like, we should get the whole story in the article. That would have been really interesting to read. But he wouldn't do it because they got into an argument, likely, over email, and it wasn't resolved. And, like, I would say, like, I was saying, like, if I was the editor, I would say, well, we're going to have to change the way this is worded and toned then. Because if we're not going to have his input, we can't say we don't know what he's going to say because he's going to say it as soon as we publish this article. You know what I mean? Like, just make it more general. Make it more like, let's talk about how this deals with sexism in games and maybe go deeper into
like how unconscious bias influences.
Oh, exactly. And I was like, but when you base it...
Like, thinking about it.
Yeah, when you base this article on code from one game that's one guy and he's clearly willing to talk about it, and you don't get him to talk about it, it just seems like, why did you publish this? Like, you got to have the interview, and then two other, I think Polygon and Kotaku both talked to him. Like, it's clearly Rock Paper Shotgun's the only one having an issue talking with the guy. So I don't know, but anyway, yeah, we can go to the Reddit article, and then I talked like, if you're going to write an article that's critical of someone's like development stuff, you have to get them on the record. You know what I mean? Because now he's just going to talk to Reddit. He's going to talk to Reddit where all these people completely agree with him because they're on the subreddit for the game and they just love everything he says and call him the bigger man for not getting into an argument. It's like, this is bad. This looks bad. Like, you just like have half an article here. Anyway, so let's talk about his rebuttals, which in themselves are a little troubling, which is why I think it would have been interesting to be in the article. But so Rimworld defines strict gender roles, and he says Rimworld scarcely defines gender at all. This is one thing I really liked about Rimworld, is that, like, dude, men, woman, whatever, like, it's all random. You can have the female that kick ass at shooting, who's gay, who has a daughter, it's like whatever. It's like crazy. Like, it's way less restrictive than so many other games. You know what I mean? Like, when you're talking about games like Nintendo's Tamagotchi Life coming out and only same-sex couples, like, it's just like, that kind of sucks for gay gamers, like, I can't play the game in which my life is, which kind of sucks, but and that's kind of the criticism you would have of this game, like, that there's no bi men, which is weird. Although in this game you're not like playing a facsimile of yourself like in Tamagotchi Life. You have little pawns that you're building a fort around to keep them alive. But anyway, so he says there's no strict gender roles. It's meant to be fluid, and I would have to agree to him on that because literally the only thing different between the genders is the sexual preferences stuff, which he actually says is I didn't realize that men were never bi, and that's broken, and I'm going to fix that. Like, obviously, like, that was an oversight. Like, okay, that would have been nice. Like, because that's one of the, points she brings up, and he just immediately is like, oh, it's a game work in progress. I'm going to fix that. The next part is the interesting part, which is why, like, I really wish this would have been in the article. But, we get it on Reddit anyway. My other problem with the article was it went up without mentioning that they had talked to him and he refused to talk. So it was just like, this is what we found. Not like, oh, we tried to talk to him and he wouldn't talk to us. Which is, like, kind of a big part of the story. That, and then they added that later, that he refused to speak to them. So here we go. No straight women in Rimworld, or all women are attracted to women in Rimworld. He said, this isn't true. I can see how a naive reading of the decompiled game code might make it seem so, which is a bit mean to say. to someone who's, but to be fair, he's also right because he made the game. It's his code. He could have probably helped to explain it, but it's a fairly subtle point, but this is important. People tend to think of game characters as people, but they're not. They don't have internal experiences. They only have outward behaviors. And they're totally defined by those behaviors because that's all the player can see. The player's point of view is the only one that matters. So from the player's point of view, most women in the game are straight, since they never attempt romance with other women, because they only have a percentage chance of doing so. So most of the women you see are straight. And the ones that are gay interact with a female character, and you're like, okay, that's a gay character, that's a straight character. The way this is modeled in the code was just the quickest way I could think of to get the system working on that night. I wrote it 7 months ago, and it did work just fine for those whole 7 months. And he kind of goes a little bit too far in here, saying it's an uninformed reading of the code, inferring hidden emotions and data structures instead of reading them just as the function code that they are. But I mean, she is right, though. I mean, like, if you look at this, the way it's written is that you're saying, like, the code is basically like women can always be attracted to women, or have that chance, basically. And then men aren't coded in the same way, which is definitely a stereotype. You know what I mean? Like, women.
Like, why?
More
why
women
would men and women have to be coded differently to begin with? Why couldn't
that's what I was like, this is a really interesting discussion to think about, because I mean, when you think about it, biologically women and men are very different. To code them identically would kind of make everybody kind of genderless, I think, which is kind of a problem on its own. But how do you do it correctly? Obviously, I think he did not do it the correct way. I think, honestly, if you wanted to do this the correct way, I think the best way to do it would be, I would say, when you randomly generate characters, they're just either straight, gay, or bi. Like, they were born that way. Like, when they're generated, that's what they are. There's no, like, chance for them to be generated. Clearly, he's hopefully going to be like, maybe this was a bad way of doing this, and that's why the article is, not well put together, because it kind of broke down and turned into a mess. But it is a really interesting thing to look at, because, like, how do you deal with this in a game? Like, and so he's, so it's just kind of interesting. But the next point he makes is the real interesting one. Rimworld implements gender roles based on unexamined cultural assumptions. Okay, so here's the weird part that happens when he tries to explain why he set up the code the way he did. I did the same thing I do when setting the weights for weapons or nutrition values for food, or nearly other such balancing task. I did some quick research to get some ballpark numbers, simplified them to an implementable and easy to read, and put them in the game. So, like, I would be thinking, like, let's look at, like, the census data of this country. What percentage of people are gay? What percentage of people are straight? What percentage of people are bi, transgendered, whatever? Get those numbers and say the code will randomly spit out that. Like, just, that's what you get.
Yeah.
And so that's what he's like, I'm trying to do that. Like, I'm just going to get basic numbers and try and make the code do that. And so some sample sources would be an OkCupid statistics blog called OK Trends, which is actually really interesting to look into it, because I guess it goes through just all of OkCupid data and looks at, like, how, like, are people, like, racist, like, what, like, do Asian men do not ever are attracted to Asian women, or, like, more attracted, it's, like, kind of interesting to, like, look at, like, OkCupid has, like, all this crazy data on relationships and dating that they could use to, like, determine, okay, how does race and attraction work? Let's look at our data we have. That's interesting. He looked at a couple other websites. We have advocate.com, which is, I believe, a transgender and bi advocacy website that says, there's an article where they published a study from Notre Dame saying women are much more likely to be bisexual than men in a percentage, polling like 5,000 women and 4,900 men as they aged, basically. I don't know. Just some, like, basic, like, data. He basically found some studies online, basically, and we're like, all right, well, let's base the code on as much of this as I can. Which is like, all right, that's a little weird, but you know what? Like, what can you do? He said, I made an honest attempt to understand the reality and apply it to the game as I learned it. And I'm updating it as I learn more. What else can anyone do? And he says, this is a game in progress. I've spent research and time on all the hundreds of thousands of different tasks that happen in this game. This is in one thing he wanted to point out is that the pawns with disabilities are found to be less attractive. Is kind of an interesting statement because it's not completely true. Because disabilities is not like, oh, this person is handicapped or something. It's no, this person like can't talk or is bedridden because they're dying or has a fresh gunshot wound or is the severe flu or is currently bleeding out. You know what I mean? Like those are the disabled status. And it's like, so yeah, they're probably not going to be interested in chatting up someone when they're dying in front of you. So obviously that's not like trying to, you know what I mean? Like when you look at that statement at face value, it sounds gross, but when you get the actual, I guess, information on how the code works, it's like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Like sick from the flu or drunk and near passed out or shot and recovering in bed. Like those people are not interested in being in a relationship, so their attractiveness level is decreased. You know what I mean? So, and he said another bug was the female pawns do not have a mood decreased for rebuffing people. So like, let's say some guy hits on you and you're like, get away from me. Your mood doesn't go down. And he's like, oh, I'm not sure if that's true, but if it is, it's not the way I want it to work, so I'll have to fix that as well. You know what I mean? It's just like, it's just kind of crazy. Like the article, like, doesn't go, like, far enough to call him out as being, like, sexist or anything, but it kind of walks the line of that, and it's clear that I think he kind of figured where they were going with the article and just didn't want to be misquoted is what he talks about in his like comment that he put on that article. Like he was worried about having his quotes taken out of context. And so obviously he went to Reddit and explained himself, and where he can constantly, edit his posts. I think he's edited it like 6 or 7 times since he first posted. You know what I mean? Like, it's just kind of like, and it's another interesting topic is like, why would you go on the record? You can just go to Reddit and explain yourself, AMA, like, and he seems like a really reasonable guy. He says in this, please be respectful when discussing this here and elsewhere. Make your points, listen to theirs, find common ground. Focus on the data and ideas, not the people. Personal attacks are never okay. Like, it's obvious. Like, I think it's a really interesting topic though. Like, fuck. I think that would be really tough to try and do.
Just my quick summary after like having no familiarity with this before tonight. Yeah. Is that he's coming from like an engineer's mindset.
That's exactly
I'm
what I thought.
I'm going to get the numbers and then I'm going to estimate it.
And
but he doesn't realize that like if you're going to have to simplify things, and simplifying along gender lines has like a huge emotional history of bad.
Mm-hmm.
So like you're almost better off just saying like everyone's chance of sexual preference or like whether they'll initiate or not is all just randomized regardless of gender. You're better off like going totally simple like that,
I guess, but like
halfway and end up, because it wouldn't be such a big deal if there wasn't such a big history attached to all.
I know, and that's why
gender roles.
Yeah, and I think that's interesting and to point out, and like I think someone else said that, and I was like, but like that kind of ruins the simulation, because that's not the way the world is either. You know what I mean? Like it sucks, because if you're gonna go of not simplifying it down and try and dig deep into the code into like a deeper, more complicated simulation, it's gonna suck. Like when you think about like the way doctors have to deal with like triaging patients and stuff, and like all that, it's like, oh, he's gonna die in 3 days, and it sounds like sad. Like you're talking about a man's life here, but it's like I deal with life and death every day. We have to like move on. And it's just what I mean. Like it's just kind of like it sounds cold and heartless, but it's just like the statistics and facts, and it does suck. Like I'm trying to think. I know I want to say this. People that are like, oh, you shouldn't write this article, like whatever. Like come on, this is an interesting article, but I just said like it turned into a clusterfuck. It probably shouldn't have. That was my maybe this should have been better put out. Because when you think about The Sims are that way. Did you know that? Like the way The Sims work is that every character is just pansexual. Like you just want to get into a relationship with someone, it just happens. There's no, that's an interesting way to do it, but it's not really like a simulation then, because
well, neither is the way he did it though, because
well, it is. Really, it may not be accurate, but it's at least a simulation.
Yeah, but he did like a surface level. I think that's what people are having a problem with. It's that he did kind of this surface level observation of women are like this, men are like this, without going deep enough into it to have actual data.
Well, yeah, he went to a couple websites and found a couple articles and published studies.
Yeah, but that's not enough.
I know, but what can he do? He was like, I don't want it to just be, slapped it, because I think someone said, why don't you just slap it together where it won't nobody will be offended? And I was like, well, that sucks. Then we get Marvel movies where everything's designed by committee and to not offend anyone. It's I think you should try to not offend anyone, but not be so afraid of offending someone when you build something to change the way you're building it in your mind. That kind of breaks the creator's vision a little bit to me. But if you're going to have that vision, people are allowed to write articles criticizing it. You know what I mean? That was the other point. I was if he's going to do this, it's totally this person's right to write an article looking at the code and being like, this looks fucked up. This isn't the way the world is. And now that he's probably taken heat for it, he'll hopefully be like, maybe I'll update it now. I'll work on that.
I hope he does.
Yeah, and I hope he does too, because I love the game, and it's really deep, and they're really interesting. This Kotaku article, talks to him about it and kind of takes him to task a little bit about the bi-curiosity being asymmetrical between sexes and all that, and they're is just well, that's tough, yeah, it's just interesting that it because it is true though. If you look at the statistics, it is true, but the male and female sexual preferences are very different. It's just how it works, and it's just touchy, huh? Because fuck, man, people are assholes about that, and they shouldn't be, which makes it hard to be someone trying to simulate it. You know what I mean? Because there's just so many innate biases built in. But yeah, I hope this means that the game is better because this article got written and it becomes more interesting. But honestly, to me and Rimworld, when I played it, I didn't give a shit about the relationships. I was just trying to make sure people weren't starving to death all the time. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I never really got into the relationship stuff, but I thought it was funny that the article, though, was written, how to deal with attractive lesbians in my base. Because all of the men are constantly hitting on them, even though they'll never have a chance, yeah. I'm sorry. I had to rant about that, because, fuck. God damn it, it's so late now. Do we have anything else to talk about? Because I do have my science corner.
I don't have anything else.
No.
Dear God, I'm dying. My throat is sore from yelling about that.
Glad you got it out of your system.
I did. Well, I just think it's a really interesting topic.
You'll sleep well tonight.
It
sucks because it's not black and white. There is a problem with sexism in games.
Yeah, for sure. 100%.
Developers need to be held accountable for that, but
But I also think it's tough.
I have this hippie hand holding vision of developers and games journalists coming together and just talking about stuff.
Yeah. I just hate that I don't know. I guess he's not really being taken to task because the article doesn't really take him to task, which is why it's people are oh, you're rude, you're writing all this garbage. I'm well, it doesn't really call him out or anything. It's just pointing something out. But I don't know, it's just stuff like this is sucks because like where we could have had a really interesting discussion, it just turned into kind of a shout match, and I was like, come on, we're better than this. We could have this discussion. But I guess we're not. Look at the world today. It's all shouting matches all the time.
I don't want to live on this planet anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Let's just get off it. So if you don't live on this planet anymore, let's just say the dreaded superbug has officially arrived at the United States.
Oh, good.
The U.S. CDC initialed a report in which it identified over a dozen cases of a deadly antibiotic-resistant fungus called Candida auris.
Is this what's killing me right now?
Possibly.
Okay.
Most likely.
It's the first time this super strain has been found in the U.S. And disturbingly, 4 of the first 7 patients infected have died. Scientists have known about the fungus since 2009 when it was first identified in ear canal discharge of a patient in Japan. Let's see here. Since then, infections have been reported in other countries, South Africa, UK, India, others. And now the CDC reports it's finally made its way to the U.S. And it's likely been in this country since 2013, serving as a reminder that the antibiotic era is definitely and quickly coming to an end. So what is Candida auris? It causes a nasty, fatal infection that is. Let me look what the symptoms are. Let's WebMD you, TJ here. What are the symptoms? CDC.gov. It's a fungal infection. Let's see here. Bloodstream infections, wound infections, ear infections.
Not really.
Respiratory and urine specimens, but it's unclear if it causes infections of the lung or bladder. So mostly it's wound, bloodstream, and ear infections. I'm assuming the bloodstream infections are what are killing people. Let's see here. Let me get back to the article. So, yeah, they're saying it's probably been in the U.S. for the past couple of years. The 7 of the cases described in the new report occurred between May 2013 and August 2016, discovered in 4 states: New York, Maryland, New Jersey, and dun dun dun, Illinois. All cases were found in patients.
We're all gonna die.
Yeah, these weren't like bugs found somewhere. They were found in patients, prompting the CDC to say these findings suggest that it could be spread in healthcare settings. All 7 of the patients had underlying medical conditions, so it's not clear if the 4 who died were actually killed by the fungus or by the medical conditions that they were in the hospital for. 60%, the 4 of 7 who acquired the infection died, but given there was only 7 people or whatever, 7 people, it's not really clear to see how deadly this fungus is. I mean, you talk about this is the end of the world, dreaded superbug. So we're talking 3 years, 7 infections, 4 people dying. Does not seem to spread very much. You know what I mean? This is a pretty small thing happening, but where it does happen, it does seem to be pretty bad.
It's like on Pandemic, where you buy your symptoms way too quickly, and then you just end up killing yourself off and not spreading.
Exactly. Right now, you need to have those symptoms low, just a little coughing, a little sneezing here or there, and let it spread worldwide.
Maybe the symptoms that help to spread it, but none of the actual dangerous ones.
Mm-hmm. Let's see here. Lab tests showed that the U.S. strains that they found in the patients were related to strains from South Asia and South America, but none of the patients who had the infection had traveled or had direct links to those locations, which strongly suggests that the patients acquired their infections locally. They're saying, disturbingly, this organism can be spread quite easily. A sweep of the Illinois patient's hospital room revealed traces of Candida auris in mattress, bedside table, bed rail, chair, and windowsill. So, isn't the Last of Us based on a fungus, right?
Yes.
Similar to cordyceps.
Yeah, let's see here. Yeah. Ophiocordyceps unilateralis is the bug fungus infection thing where spores come out of a zombified bug and it uses the bug to move to a new location to sprout, basically. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so we're all going to die, huh?
We're all gonna die. I have a
Yep.
book arriving tomorrow that's probably gonna scare the crap out of me.
What's that book?
It's about what is it? I think it's called Aurora. It's like the space ark getting to their destination, and all the people on board were like born there and have lived in space their whole life. And they get to the destination planet, and there's no life there. They like done the scans and stuff, but then they start to try and colonize it, and fucking prions.
Yeah, prions are terrifying, huh?
They're my biggest medical fear. And so I'm just voluntarily going to subject myself to that.
Yeah, let's see. Prion diseases or transmissible spongiform encephalopathies are a family of rare progressive neurodegenerative disorders that affect both humans and animals. Long incubation periods, so you could have it for a long time and not know. Oh, Matt, you're going to die.
Probably.
Creutzfeldt-Jacobs disease. We had this talk already.
Yeah. Prions come up a lot on the show.
And Kuru, which is the cannibalism disease.
One.
Yeah. Let's see here. I'm trying to think here. Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease. Well, I probably don't have that. Infection with this disease leads to death usually within 1 year of onset of illness. Ooh, Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease is fucking horrifying. 1 year? How do you get that? How do you get it, Matt? How do you get it?
It's everywhere. It's in the air. It's everywhere, man.
Oh my god,
Come to get you.
the deaths have been going up every year. But, because if you look at the chart on the CDC from 1979 to 2013, the percentage deaths have gone up from 175 in 1979 up to 75 in 2013. But if you look at that age adjusted, or if you look at the deaths per 1,000 or 1 million, it hasn't really gone up. It's pretty flat because obviously the population's been going up, so more people with it are going to get it. Fucking A, man. So you got, let's see here, rate in the U.S. of roughly 1 to 1.5 cases per 1 million. So you got 1 in a million chance of getting Creutzfeldt-Jacobs disease.
Just letting your brain be consumed.
Yeah. Well, luckily, classic Creutzfeldt-Jacobs disease happens at the median age of death is 68 years. So it happens in the elderly. Although variant Creutzfeldt-Jacobs disease, median age of death 28. And I think the variant.
Well, I'm neither of those, so I'm good.
You're good. You're out of it.
That's weird. I wonder if it's like one of those things that is a lot more present than we think, but like our immune system just fights it off usually. Like,
yeah,
because if it affects the elderly a lot more.
Mm-hmm. So that's kind of one of those really interesting things about that when I took a lot of science classes in college, including some like pathology and microbiology classes, and what you learn is like 70% of like doctor visits, like people visiting with some sort of illness, are I forget what it's called, just unexplainable. Like they're like, yeah, it's some sort of virus or something you got. Idiopathic, yeah. There's like, we can't diagnose this. Like, hopefully you get better. Like there, like there is so much crazy shit that can happen to your body that it's just like, and then I had a doctor tell me this when I used to have like anxiety about my health, and they were just like, you know what, like your body's pretty good at fighting shit off. So, like if you're sick, you're probably going to get better. Like it is only super rare cases in which you don't get better. So don't worry about it. And I was like, that's comforting. Like, you know what? Like 9.9, 9.9 times out of 10, it's absolutely nothing. And wait a week and you'll feel better. So it's kind of how I've felt in my life. So,
and if it does kill you, you won't care anyway.
And if it does kill you, maybe you'll have a disease named after you. Should I name this episode The Fungus Among Us?
I say go for it.
All right, and with that, we're done. I'm out of here.
Best episode ever.
Yeah, holy shit. I think it was pretty good. You know, it's interesting. We could talk about Westworld, Matt. You know, like
I tried to bring that up earlier.
let's read a billion articles about how sexism in Westworld is. Anyway, I hate that. I fucking hate think pieces. There's 5 episodes of this show. Can we just let it be a show, and then maybe write these?
You always have these things that I never know exist. Like I didn't know people were writing stuff about this.
About what? Oh.
About sexism in Westworld.
Oh yeah, no, dude, millions of think pieces get written about that every day because people click on.
You just have to like assemble your bubble.
Oh, I know.
Like, I've got this fantastic bubble that I keep everything that annoys me outside of.
Yeah. I know I filter that stuff out just manually because I'm just like, you know what? Like, I don't want to read any of these weird fan theories, any of this fucking shit, because...
Yeah, I didn't want to read it.
It's 5 episodes in. And they're probably all wrong. Yeah, we're 5 episodes in. Like, let it breathe.
Guys, all you with multiple timeline theories, it was written by fucking Christopher Nolan's brother. It's just non-linear storytelling.
Yeah.
That's what he does.
Who knows? So, well, we should talk about that next week. I want to talk more about Westworld. Yeah. Put that on the docket again, and yell at me if I try and railroad you again.
Okay.
Because I came
Maybe I'll have my cover finished by then.
I came in with my agenda.
Like a wrecking ball.
I know, like a wrecking ball. What's the Adventure Zone? We didn't get to that.
Oh, that's another McElroy Brothers podcast. It's one of those ones where they play D&D.
Yeah.
But it's like so weirdly compelling. There's like the frame story of them just goofing that's interesting. But then if you listen to enough of it, you start to get like invested into the story of their characters. And
Who's the DM?
Griffin.
Okay, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I love D&D.
I want to play it now. I didn't realize like how much freedom you have to just improvise crazy situations.
Yeah, Matt. Well, I'll let you know the next time my gaming group starts a new campaign.
Do I have to buy anything? I don't need to like get a little pewter figurine or anything.
Nope. You need to have 0.
That's good.
Because there are free apps that allow you to like deal with character creation stuff, or you could just do it all on pen and paper. Because other people have books, and all of the rules are available online. Because the game we play is Pathfinder, and it's OGL. OGL. It's part of the Open Gaming License, so it's like open source D&D basically. So you can just get it all for free.
It's not like super serious, is it?
Oh God, no.
I'm gonna make goofs.
I'm just gonna tell you that 90% of the dialogue in our campaigns lately has been me talking about how my character started with a small loan of arrows from his father and has built those into the industry of rangering he has today. It is all, we're not very serious, but anyway, I love it. We gotta end, huh? TJ?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, you're alive. Feel better, man.
I'm trying.
All right. Well, good luck with that.
Thanks for listening.
No, thanks for coming out.
I tried.
This is the worst. Every time, the song. It's perfect. It gets me to wrap it up. Hashtag wrap it up. What is that noise? Hey!
Mercury!
We're already recording, so we could capture it.
Give me your keys and I'll... Oh, wait, what, he wants to talk?
I don't know. He keeps
Just for a hot second.
Hi, John.
Hey, everyone, I want to introduce. This is formerly Tyler. It is Mercury Stardust.
Are you recording right now?
Yeah, of course.
Oh, you're an asshole.
Why am I an asshole?
You didn't even give me a warning. You're just like, hey, you're gonna be on the air now.
Well, yeah, that's how I roll. That's how I get the good stuff.
Yeah. How's it going, Tits?
It's good. I'm drinking beer and recording an episode with Matt, and then Adam is dead or something. He hasn't responded to any of my texts.
He doesn't like you anymore. Adam and I are actually best friends now.
Oh, all right. That's fine.
Yeah.
Good for Adam.
Mm-hmm. Hey, by the way, congrats on your engagement, my friend.
Yeah, you fucker. You beat me to it.
Well, you know what? You took way too long.
You took way too little.
Years? That was a great response.
I think there's somewhere in the middle, maybe.
Well, you know what? We learn and let live. You know what
That's
I mean?
right. Just let it. It was meant to be. Yeah. It's meant to be, right?
Yeah.
There you go.
You don't need a ring to define your fucking relationship.
No, but it's time now. So.
How long has it been?
That we've been dating?
8 years? Yeah.
It'll be 8 years in like 11 days.
Dude, good for you guys. That's pretty great.
Yeah, it'll be a bit before we get
Nothing
hitched.
changes when you get married. Nothing changes. Besides
Yeah, I know.
financial stuff.
Yeah.
Nothing changes.
Well,
Like,
that's cool.
all it is a government thing. That's all it is.
Oh, it's just big government
Yeah, that's what it is.
stepping in.
So hey, can you not? I mean, how badly are you just waiting to vote for Trump?
I mean, I have to. It's America.
Yeah, I'm there too. Yep.
It's America needs to be made great again.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm gonna do it.
We need this country to be great again. I mean,
Yep.
right now, we're President Obama.
Yeah, Barack Hussein Obama.
Yeah.
He's a secret Muslim. He's a terrorist.
Yep.
All right. Well,
God, all these things hurt when I hear them.
I know.
Right.
Let's. Yeah, I'll let you get back to your life.
Yeah. Well, thank you for I don't know, podcasting me. Out of nowhere. I appreciate it.
I like.
You didn't ask me for consent too. This is a violation of my rights as an American and as another human being on this earth.
Well, maybe you shouldn't have sounded that good. You know. Then maybe I wouldn't have wanted to talk to you. I'm saying it's your fault.
Yeah, you know how to get me to do things. Look at you.
I know.
You romancer.
What are you up to tonight? Heading out?
I'm actually just cleaning my car out so I can put Matt's speakers in my car for a show tomorrow.
Ooh.
And then I'm probably gonna go to a late night showing of Doctor Strange.
Oh, good luck. Get Strange.
Yeah, I know. I'm hoping this movie. By the way, Mel Gibson's new movie. I haven't talked to you about this yet. What the fuck is this, man? Why does Hollywood let him do things? Why?
I don't know.
I don't understand.
Yeah.
And it's another Christian propaganda film. Like, another one. It looks like a great film, though.
Yeah.
But another film that somehow ties in being a Christian means that you're a better person than everyone else.
Yeah, like, well, it does. Obviously.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right. Anyways, I'm gonna let you go.
Love you. Let's open the crypt.
Whoa, did you just say you love me?
Yeah.
Oh, John Rowe. You didn't even say congrats, by the way. You didn't even say congrats to me about my wedding.
Congrats on what?
My wedding, you asshole! I say congrats for you.
Where was my invite?
Your engagement.
Huh?
Oh, first of all, no one was at my wedding besides Odari and Max, bride of maid of honor. Or whatever.
Wait, Odari's still up there?
Yeah.
Yep. Heck yeah.
Who's this now? Someone else has been listening to me the entire time? I feel violated. What is this, John Rowe?
I need to have you back on again someday, Mercury.
No, I don't like this. No, I'm done with you. You are betraying my trust. I do not feel good about this. I feel like you lured me into something.
Yeah.
And yeah. You know what? You grabbed me by the pussy. Is what just happened.
That's
you
right.
Grabbed me by the pussy. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh well, John, I love you, buddy.
Oh, I have one final question.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
This is it.
It's just
So-
as bad as when I used to be actually on the podcast.
With your new name, what can I call you shorthand? Can I just call you Merc?
Merc. Yeah.
Merkin. Got it.
Merc. Yeah.
Merkin.
People call me Merkin all the time.
All right, there we go. Perfect.
Hard. Merc it hard.
Merc it hard for the money.
Oh, God, that was a bad one.
All right.
Love you, buddy.
Yeah, thank you. Bye.
Bye. What an asshole.
I can hear this.
That was strange.
Yeah. All right. Well, you ready to start?
I suppose.
All right, I'm
Never
gonna
works.
get another beer quick because I'm almost done with this one already. If that's okay.
Okay.
All right, I'll be right back. We'll start.
I've already given this episode a subtitle, but I've already. I don't think it'll stick.
You really do sound like death.
Yeah, it's horrible. Yeah, I tweeted out the subtitle on this as episode 240, the Dyslexics 420. So whatever my kids were coughing last week, that's I think what I got this week.
Oh man. Germ factories.
Welcome to Family of Five issues. And right now the issues are full of tissues.
How do we all sound?
I don't know, I'm getting to the broadcast.
Yeah, me too.
I've already tweeted out the link.
All right, I need everyone to talk. I'm gonna say, I love Merkin. I love Merkins. I love Merkins.
I prefer murky, like the Murloc.
Okay.
Mm.
And
Well,
TJ's
what's Americans? Am I Americans?
Ooh,
It's all
I
Americans.
hope not.
Merkin is bad.
It's not bad. I just wouldn't want to be one. A merkin is a pubic wig.
Okay, I think we sound good. A Merkin is a pubic hair wig.
That sounds lovely.
Yeah.
Where can I get one?
I don't know. Specialty stores?
Yeah,
Merkins R Us?
your various video stores and the like.
Well, there's a Facebook page called Merkins R Us, but it has nothing in it. I'm just gonna Google search Merkins with safe search off. It's a Friday night.
You used to listen to My Brother and Me, right?
Yeah, I've listened to that.
So, like, after hearing them plug extremerestraints.com, like, for I don't know how many episodes, I finally got curious enough that I looked it up, and it's definitely extreme.
What is?
The stuff that they sell at extremerestraints.com.
Oh, extremerestraints.com. I don't know if I heard the episode where they mentioned that, but
Oh, they were sponsors for like a long stretch of episodes, but it was like older ones.
I don't
I
listen to
could've-
that. Oh, go ahead.
I wish I don't know. I couldn't get into that podcast.
I don't listen to that particular McElroy podcast. I only listen to trends like these.
See? Oh boy, this is an explicit website.
Yeah, it's
My god.
very-
Why did I click on any of this?
like stuff that looks just really, really painful.
Yeah. Some people are into that, you know? Some people are into that. Not this person. I'm not a pain guy. I don't like pain. I like to avoid it.
I don't know. Pain's not too bad a thing.
Okay, I've had enough of this. Let's start the podcast. Ready?
Let's do it.
1, 2, 3, go. I have to turn TJ down a bit.
Thank you.
Sorry. When you're not on studio, it just makes your voice louder.
Yeah, I know.
That's fine. Just turn it down. I certainly can't start with Matt playing copyrighted music. Oh my god.
Yes, you're next.
Jesus. All right, let's end it. All right, I'm ready. Wait.
Ready, steady.
Okay, now I'm ready. Welcome to Born. Oh, you fucking bastard!
Fuck you. I'll have my own show.
Okay, Running with Scissors, the Artists and Entertainers podcast.
Which I am neither.
Ouch.
You're an entertainer.
Yeah,
Some
you're on the
people find us
podcast.
entertaining. Hi, I'm Matt, by the way.
No, I'm restarting the re-intro.
Hello, Internet.
All right. Welcome.
Welcome
Wow.
Hello, Internet is a different podcast.
All right. I'm just going to do
Yeah,
this.
I like that one, too.
All right.
Just edit in an intro, like a clean one from a previous show.
Yeah. I'll just... I can't seem to mute either of you guys. Oh, I muted TJ. Oh, it was just like way behind. All right. Let me just... Wow. Okay. I was going to mute both of you so I could do an intro, and now I've broken everything. It says that you're muted right now, Matt, but I don't think you are.
Can hear me?
Oh, I'm waiting. I'm just going to wait for it to... TJ, can you talk?
Maybe.
Okay, good. So it didn't mute you, but... Hashtag wrap it up.